Don't everybody talk at once.
Nope. That's what I was thinking too.
Live from, wait.
There you go. Carl, take over.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess all 6 of us here, right? I assume we're going to talk about all the events that we're going to be at over the next 4 months, right?
Sure.
As we return to Cloverdale. And I'm looking at the classes. Looks like everything's about the same as what we had last year, isn't it? What are our additions, Clint?
I put the classic supers in. And of course, after all the bickering last year, I had to split the hot farms up, which absolutely was the stupidest thing we ever done. But they weren't going to stop complaining until we did it. That and we split the 85 limited pros up, which once again, it's not working. You know, we got plenty of the tractors that's native to our land, but given an opportunity to the ones from the south and the east, they're not taking advantage. Don't understand why, but they were all excited to come and run with us in the past whenever they were too big a cubic inch and too big a turbo, but now whenever they have to kind of do it once themselves, it's not working out. But I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep trying, keep calling, see if I can't get some tractors in it so our fans will be entertained.
Yeah, keep the cards and letters coming, kids.
Yeah, the rules that we've been going by for seems like 15, 20 years weren't good enough anymore. And they start squabbling about the size of tires they had on the back. You know, the 20.8 dominated for since we started in 2005, and then they won last year, and that was a real issue for some fellas. So we fixed it for them and caused problems, in other spots, because it seems like you put one fire out, or another. But that's kind of the entries have been pretty good in most classes. We're still looking for a few more of those 24.5 tire hot farms, Battle of Bluegrass. The small mini rods, I think, were really fused, and a lot of rumors and stuff that was going on with that. And the small mini rods throughout the United States have basically 2 sets of rules: either a 370 cubic inch carbureted motor or a 410 cubic inch carbureted motor. Well, we have always allowed them to just kind of run together, and then it's kind of been fine. Well, we've had some problems in the past with the bigger motors, dominating, so smaller guys quit coming. So what we did this year was tell them, you tell us which side of the card you're on, if you're a small motor or a big motor, and we'll get you split, and you run at the same time. You run for different purses. You'll both get trophies, but you run at the same time. You're not running against one another, and even that's not. They're like, I don't even want to be around the other ones. I was like, we may not be able to sustain a mini rod class in the future. We're going to stick with this year, but if we don't get a little cooperation and some, continuity throughout the event, the extra expense of the sled and everything may not be worth it. And that's just my 2 cents. What's everybody else think?
Yeah, I agree with you on the idea that it takes a little to get a little. I feel like there's way too much guys wanting to infight, and they don't realize that what the end result is going to be is that it's not that the group you don't want to be there is going to lose out. Both of you are going to lose. because we'll put something else in, so we don't have to deal with it. Well, so Clint doesn't have to deal with it. I mean, he's the one taking the phone calls. We want to put on a good program and a good show. Help us do that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what was always a threat back in the day with Pickish was helping us all the time? If you don't straighten out, we're going to bring in the mini trucks. Wasn't that Pickish's threat? Straighten up, we're bringing in the mini trucks.
You will have no problem with them at all.
Yeah,
I promise you that.
I saw the lineup at the Lexington pool. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
it's
they
pretty
didn't have
up
any skins.
Everywhere.
But those guys have a good time. I had them at DeCoin. We had a blast with them. And yeah, never say never. They might end up today.
Oh man. What else are we needing besides the hot farms and the mini rods?
We can take a few more light limiteds. I know they're having their infighting, squabbling. You know, a couple guys pretty much made the comment that if one component tractor was in the facility, they weren't coming. I was like, well, there's none of them there. So
I don't think there's any of them that are anywhere close to being done either. I don't see it being a problem.
Right. And you know, I still have that AGCO money was, you know, for Oliver's, Cockships, minis, whatever. We can kind of help them with some of their entry expenses. Just got to reach out to me directly or reach out to Ryan. And but yeah, we're still looking for, you know, last year we had almost 24, 25, but it snowed, and a lot of them think if it snows once, it'll snow forever. Well, yeah, unfortunately, it is Midwest Winter Nationals, and a couple people was like, "Well, we want to come to Gordyville, but we don't want to come to Cloverdale. Can you hold us a spot for Gordyville?" And I was like, no. If not gonna keep a guy out of the Gordyville show that came to Cloverdale and supported us. So that's just not right. You know.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta support the guys that go every year with us, not just because you're afraid of, you know, snow. Be like, you know, be like, you know, telling Mike Witt, I want to come and save me a spot, but if it snows, you know, I'm not coming. See how far that gets you at the farm show.
Newsflash, don't.
But,
Well, and Midwest weather is also kind of a cool thing. I can remember years ago at the Gordyville, it was like 3 degrees or something on the Wednesday night. And by Saturday, it was 45 or 50.
yeah.
So, I mean, and that was the first week of January too. I mean,
and raining.
yeah, all the cool happened.
Yeah.
We did it at Chippewa. We started the weekend with it being 65 and balmy, and by Sunday morning it was negative 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
And I will warn people. Of course, all the hotels in Cloverdale are clogged up and have been clogged up. But I got the last rooms today at the Holiday Inn in Rantoul, and the last rooms at the Illini, formerly known as the Quarters Inn in Rantoul. So those places are sold out. And it's November
18th.
Those hotels are sold out in Rantoul. So that's a good indication that something's happening.
Yeah. I think the crowd at Gordyville, with it being the original place where Midwest Winter Nationals started, I think that's carrying a lot of nostalgia with it. Because, I mean, Clint, I've had the same thing happen to me. A lot of people have asked me about Gordyville, but Cloverdale, they're like, oh, it'll be springtime. And by the time we go to Gordyville, though, I'm like, dude, there's no guarantees what the weather's going to be in March.
Yeah. I'm taking snow insurance out for that too. You know, I've been snowed in March.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too.
But I think everything, you know, for the Cloverdale, I mean, everything is really well for the, you know, what we call our core classes. Now, I don't know what happened to our super farms. I mean, I feel bad for them, but, you know, as far as Whatssmokin Promotions and myself, I never did anything with any form of animosity to the Super Farm class. In fact, last year I took the input from a few down at the farm show, and we actually made an intercool class and then a class that's set up the same way as the farm show. So if the guy wanted to, switch his tractor over and prepare, he had a couple hooks in January to do so. And I've always had, like in a hot farm class, you'd get one portion of them aggravated because of a turbo or a tire or whatever. We had that last year, but I never had the entire class just like, nope, we're not participating in at an event. And both ways, the intercool guys that pull with the group that I work for during the summer, there's only one of them entered. I mean, I guess it's the end of an era. We started this whole show on a bunch of Super Farm guys that couldn't get into Louisville. And so I guess this might be the last hurrah for them, unless we get some to respond in the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks, because we have a meeting here Saturday after Thanksgiving. We got to make some pretty, rough decisions. And but I'm not going to sell a fan a $35 ticket if he wants to come watch 15 Super Farms when I got one. I'm not going to do it.
I'm not convinced though that I think there will be a few of them that register whenever the list comes out. I do. I've been on the horn with them. I'm about like you though. I'm not getting much back. So I don't know if they're all just banking on it or what they're waiting on.
Well, the few that I talked to are just mad. That's all they're just mad. They're mad they got to go 4-1. They're mad they got to do this. They're mad they got to do that. There's mad. And I think that group has shrunk so much that if you got one of them mad, they're all mad. And and the intercooler guys, I think I want to get a couple more to come and just run against Foresters in the Mod Turbo class, but they're just tricking out some tires. That's the reason they're coming. But I've never had anything like that. Just quit. There's always an indication, hey, we're all bumping up to Super Farm, or we're all bumping up to 4-1, and we're bumping up to Light Pro. It may not be very many of us left. And we've had that at Gordyville. We've had years when we had like 7 or 8 of them whenever we had the 4-1 explosion back in the 2015 to 2020 when everybody was going 4-1. To have an entire group of guys just like, nope, not pulling inside. Not with you. And Tennessee down in Murfreesboro, they struggled too. I think last year they only had 7 or 8 tractors, and 3 of them was from California. 2 of them was from California. Maybe it's just not them guys' cup of tea anymore. But Lord knows we got plenty of hot farms. So
yeah, it is kind of curious to see that take place, because probably all them guys still have the smoke tube hanging on a wall in the shop. All I got to do is drop it on.
Yep. But like I said, there's nothing you can tell them. But there's a lot of time left. But I don't think anything we can do as Whatssmokin Club can influence them.
Right.
Shane's talked to them. Ryan's talked to them. I've talked to them. I think they're just comfortable sitting home this year, and that's unfortunate, but that's part of the deal. We got plenty of Light Pros. We need to probably scavenge up some more 4-1s because they're like there's a bunch of them waiting on the secret list for the farm show, but But I know there's a few of them that normally enter kind of late, and I haven't bugged them yet. Till today, we've been working outside. Today, we're finally started raining a little bit. Just a little bit. Kept us in the field, but But yeah, I mean, and we can always use a few more 5.0s. We changed the 5.0 status this year because a couple of them said they wasn't driving clear out here for one hook on Saturday night. They wanted to qualify in the finals. So I did that, and 3 guys that said they wanted that haven't entered. So I guess I need to shake those guys down too. So hopefully that'll work out.
It
The
should.
5.0 guys are the guys that, you know, a lot of people just want to come on Saturday night to watch the 5.0s and 4.1s, and the light pros all run at once. Well, they can do that now twice, Friday and Saturday night. So,
How many more light pros do you need?
well, I'd like
We're
to.
at 17 right now.
I'd like to see 18 to 20 of them because, you know, we haven't gotten into that dyno death season, and that's coming quick.
Ugh.
What? I don't know. What are you referring to?
Yeah,
Just say die. No.
yeah.
Do it.
I've got one out of New York. I need to bug him. He said he told me in Pennsylvania he was going to be signing up, and he ain't signed up yet. I'll go bug him tomorrow.
And I'm willing to make some deals. You know, if you're out east and you want to bring a couple, you know, you want to load a trailer up, give me a call. I'm pretty flexible. I just want to get some vehicles in, and, you know, on paper, ready to go for this show. And we reached out yesterday to the Snyder County tractor pulling hot stocks, and we're going to try to get some of those guys involved in our 24/5 tire hot farm class. Of course, before I did that, I called the few guys that were the kind of lead guys that were entered and asked if they'd be okay, and they said that was a fantastic idea. Look forward to pulling against those guys. So
Yeah.
maybe we'll get the Snyder County guys in there.
You said that you're going to let them run that BOB class too, didn't you?
Yeah, if they want to get light enough, they can.
It'd be kind of interesting to watch by itself, see if they can get light enough.
Yeah, because they most of them fall on the kind of if they're 466s, they, you know, or 510s, 504s, they fit down in that pretty easy. But let's see. Yeah, we, you know, make it worth their while. And we haven't got our all of our entries in from the Forester camp yet either. We'll get those in the next few weeks and get them entered. Jason's always been a great supporter of our event, and he brings a lot of mean running Fords and mean running internationals with him, and he's planning on doing it again.
Was that about
What's that?
a dozen? Isn't it?
Yeah. But today yesterday I sent out all the vendor packets because all the vendors have been, you know, so used to getting that piece of paper in the mail, filling it out, sending it in, and 3 or 4 of them had called me, like, in Facebook messaged me several times. They didn't have a printer or didn't know how to print it. So I sent them all out yesterday. And then I kept trying to find the bottom of my desk. And today I did all the box seat paperwork. Found out that, you know, several of the box seats aren't back yet. And they're the high dollar ones. So if you want to keep it, you better reach out to me by the end of the week, or we're going to bump everybody down and have some box seats available. And, you know, the box seats at Gordyville have a waiting list already. So if half of the guys that have box seats, the historic guys that wanted them in both places, if half of them say they don't want to, I got a waiting list to fill the other half up. So box seats are all sold out at Gordyville now. They're already sold out. Unless somebody, you know, backs out last second, they're all gone. So,
What else do we need on the truck side? 2 6s, 3 O's, and 4
the
by
2 6s, I think, are over their limit right now, and we're going to have to raise that limit. So 2 6s are great this year. So happy for those guys. We can send a few more 3 O's.
Okay.
Yeah, if the 3 O's got up to 24, I would be happy, because if it gets cold or snows, some of those guys get stage fright too, and can't get out of the shed when it's snowing.
Yeah. There's 15 of them right now and 17 2 6s, I think.
That's great. I'm so happy with 2-6 guys. I'm happy to do it for them. That's great.
I don't know if there's anybody that it maybe affects, but with the PPL clarification for the 3.0 trucks on the fuel pump rules, are we going to follow in line with that on the 7100 or an 8600 pump only?
I haven't talked to the main guys yet. I would probably say we'll probably have to, because but I don't know if they can get them all, if they're going to, change them by then or not.
Right.
I have my banquet this weekend. We'll see what Scuttlebutt is there. To be honest, I am kind of on the fence on. I don't want 3.0 trucks putting signal pumps on. That doesn't sound cool, but because
I mean, actually, it does. Oh no.
yeah, it does sound cool. It will sound cool, but Carl and I are old enough, and so is Charles, to see what the signal pump did to about every class they got involved with. It ramps the game up pretty dramatically, and
it's like Stevie Fast says about screw blowers.
Yeah.
I mean, they ruin everything. Oh,
yeah, I'd hate to see the rear engine transmissions we got now not be strong enough. And I know they can go to the chassis like super stocks, but it just seems like sometimes words are going to stop. When's common sense going to come into play?
Yeah, you got a good thing right now with the class the way it is. Don't ruin it.
Yeah.
There's so many of them, man. So many. And they're universal pretty well everywhere, from as far as I can tell.
Pretty much, yeah. You're coast to coast. You're legal anytime you drop a trailer ramps with one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, whenever we were in Pennsylvania, we had guys from Kentucky travel all the way up there instead of pulling around home. So, I mean, they all can mix in pretty well anywhere they want to.
That was the biggest class at Babal's place out in California here a couple weeks ago. Far and away the biggest class.
3.0s were.
Yeah.
It's
What do
not
you think?
broken.
Woody, Brent, you need to be quiet. What's going on? What's going on up north?
I wish I knew.
You wish you knew.
I just been busy, so I haven't really been paying attention to a whole lot that's been going on, other than just seeing all the new events that's taking place and all this other announcement that came out of PPL this weekend. And other than that, we're just kind of getting ready for WTPA banquet as well here in a couple weeks. So that's usually when I start hearing more of what's been going on and new things that are happening up here. So
Sure. Well, if you got any, we're needing 466 hot farms. So if you can beat the brush up there, and get some.
I'll definitely talk to some of those guys, and especially at the banquet, and see if they get any of those guys to come down. And a lot of them, they don't like traveling in the snow and all that stuff. So, but I'll see what I can do. But yeah, we have plenty of them up here, and there's no reason why we can't get a few more down. But
Yeah, and like 126 truck from up there registered.
was that
Only 126 truck
Yeah, I know.
from up there. We have
Don't ask me.
Carl, I think you need to sing Brent happy birthday.
Oh
Well, happy birthday, Yarn.
Yeah.
no, I can't be singing. We get kicked off for infringement or some such of a thing.
Yeah,
Ain't that
no,
the
no,
truth?
no FEC, no SEC rules here.
Well, and also I've shared it on my Facebook page and have you guys share it around. Justice Secretary does have our toy done, the Ford of Smiths, and we haven't decided a charity yet. I think we're going to do that in November. I've had some great suggestions. I've had some terrible ones. I'm not going to raffle off a tractor for somebody's volleyball travel team benefit. I'm not doing that. So it has to help humanity, not not a travel volleyball team. So
Who could that come from?
oh, I'm not gonna say it's just, I think on the podcast a few weeks ago, or my ass, maybe I said it. We're looking for ideas on to help people out. Last year, to feed the children, that money went a long way. That lady was really happy with that. I mean, they can take $5,000 or $6,000 and stretch it a long way.
Mm-hmm.
And even though our charity wasn't as big last year because the crowd just wasn't that big, so everybody be thinking kind of about where we need to go with it this year. We'll take suggestions, but no travel ball and no volleyball. We're not sponsoring that. Well, I might give you some Whatssmokin t-shirts, but never mind. That's our sponsorship.
Nice.
Well, and something like, because last year was the first time I'd been back there in quite a while at Cloverdale, and some of the people had commented about parking, et cetera, et cetera. If you hadn't been there in a while, that has improved considerably. If that's one of your issues of going to Cloverdale, nothing obviously is perfect, but it's a lot better than it was the first time you were there.
Oh yeah. Well, we had Mark out there, our parking Nazi, and Mark didn't come in hardly at all. Just somebody couldn't speak. He said everybody was really cooperative, and guys pulled out and left when they needed to, and moved, and having that little rock down there at the base of the hill for the smaller haulers and the haulers that can turn pretty short, that helped out a lot, and a lot of the spectators, that park up on the hill. Yeah, I know they don't like walking down that hill, but we have buses on Friday and Saturday this year that will bring you right to the front door. And we're doing everything we possibly can to make the fan experience better. And we got quite a bit of diversity in classes, from mini rods, pro stock folds out trucks, diesel trucks. Yeah, we can't run blown mini rods in there, big ones. We can't run big blown 2-liters in there because the roof's 30 foot. Can't do that. And a lot of people, it's like we should be running super stocks in there. Well, where would I get them? And have you? I don't know how many people survived 2009 when I had 35 of them go down the track in there, right beside 2-liters and mini rods. We had 2 tracks of alcohol going on at once. That was not the greatest moment of Whatssmokin Promotions.
We had some alcohol light limited supers already effectively rearranged.
Lighting them lights light limited.
Yeah. We learned a lot last year working with the building people. Steve and Carl have been an absolute dream to get organized with this fall. We're going to move some lights, move some speakers around, try to make it a little bit better. We're going to move some bleachers around, make it a little bit better for the fans. Behind where you guys announced, probably just going to be a big area for picnic tables and sitting around visiting, behind you guys, because the dirt pile is kind of a unique spot to make our smoke codes work. And, that you'll learn from the first year, and hopefully it'll be good this year. We got a lot of different vendors coming this year that I know of. Some from out east that's never been there, so excited about that. I think everything's going pretty good. I mean, it kind of we were talking there tonight in the shop that kind of seems like with all the big announcements about the the upper echelon events and guys that run those events kind of overshadowed these indoor pools like we do in Murfreesboro and Lexington. Because that's for the, I call it sportsman level tractors. Last during COVID, right after COVID, we were talking a lot about these events because people missed them. Well, now I think we're back into the pattern of just taking them for granted. They'll always be there. We can go if we want to. If we don't go, they'll always be there. Well, that wasn't the case for some of the ones out west, and if the indoor events aren't well attended this fall or this winter, I can see some of them going away too. But it's just at one time there was too many of them. And there was Shipshawana was trying to do 2, and we were doing 1 or 2, and there was 1 or 2 out west. I mean, there's too many of them, and some of them suffered, and we suffered. Gordyville, it was in 2016, 17, 18, 19, somewhere out in there. There were just 2 out west. That hurt us. Guys didn't want to go there and fight in the cold. They saved them, and most of the guys never came back since. That's some of the Excalibur guys, but the guys from out west, they still don't come. So, but it is what it is, I guess.
Well, we'll put our best foot forward, and that's all we can do. You got the reputation's already there. Everybody's going to work hard and put on a good, smooth event. So trust us that we know how to do this.
Right. And I think going forward that we probably do need to shrink down our classes and streamline them a little bit. But we always say we do this for the pullers, and so we did it for the pullers. But sometimes what we do for the pullers backfires for the promoter, and ends up costing us time and money that would are wasting time, I guess, is what it is. And nobody wants that. But I've had a lot of people respond today for the box seat stuff. We will have some box seats available at Cloverdale. Just give me a call or Facebook message me, and I'll get you set up with that. It's a good value if you buy. Well, even the ones on the starting line, with 8 tickets, it's cheaper than coming in and buying pit passes. And the pass you get is a pit pass for the event. So you wander around. You cannot wander in the pit area without a pit pass. During the, within an hour of the show, security guards won't let you. Which, if you've been back in there, you shouldn't be back in there anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mr. Gordyville. I'm assuming that's oval.
no, that's a couple years out. Keep praying.
They haven't worked so well.
Veronica. Yeah. How many times have we tried that, Ben?
Yeah. I did everything I could in my power last year to get the Mid-South guys to blow up and come, but they showed up down there in Murfreesboro, though.
Yeah. Yeah. And they did a good job there.
Yeah. The thing about Murfreesboro is here lately, the last 3 years, I've been to that pool and we've been so cold, like in farm show in past years. Then I've been there when it's been 70 degrees, and we've had 70 degrees the last couple of years.
The only thing about Murfreesboro is they caught our disease on Saturday night. They go about an hour and a half too long.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a diehard, but I needed to get back home on Sunday morning at a decent time, and I left before 1 class was done. I never do that. But at 1:30, I needed to get some sleep and get rolling north, and we had that disease for a while. Carl knows it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
3 a.m.
Yeah, 3 a.m. 2 hours of smoke delayed drama and pulling the smoke tube because the FFA club stiffed us. That was awesome.
Or their mom came and got them because it's past their bedtime. I mean, those are realities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
But now all that's silky smooth. So there we go.
Yeah. Well,
Parts.
we go so much more. We go so much faster now because we just don't have the, knock on wood, the smoke tube issues and the changing of the sled and the arguing about changing the sled. We don't have that anymore. You know, the newly ordained ambassador of pulling does a pretty good job in that stuff. And, you know, everybody thinks me and Brandon have some kind of script that we go by. That kid remembers from the year before. And
So does that make him like the Pope now?
yeah, we should get him a big Pope hat he wears in the sled.
The Pope Mobile.
The Pope mobile. I told him last night, and I visited with him, that we're going to get a nameplate for the bottom of his cab that says "The Ambassador of Truck and Tractor Pulling." He just laughs and calls me stupid.
He's gonna show up one night, and there it is.
Yeah.
I know a guy. We can make something happen.
But whenever, you know, I think last year he was all day Thursday, pretty much Friday until we got to the pro stock full drive trucks. We had to reset, and I think that was the only time the first time he reset in like a year and a half. And he just got to laugh. He goes, "Those trucks pull a little more than I thought they could on this track." And I was like, "Well, good trucks."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mr. Tucker, I've got to jump out and.
All right.
I'll see you here in again about 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, sir. See you here in a second.
See you, Shane.
See you guys.
But Ryan, refresh our memories. Our tickets are for sale, correct?
Yep, tickets are for sale. So we're about $1,500 worth of sales so far in about a week.
In a week. That's good. As normal, we do not sell pit passes. If you are determined that you need a pit pass and you buy advanced tickets, you can bring those into the door and exchange them for pit passes for additional money, because we don't really want you back there, and a signature. So people ask me, well, can we buy them in advance? And I was like, no, you can't. You can buy a ticket, they get you in the door, and then swap those out. I mean, for pit passes, and that's fine. But you got to have that signature on the paper, you know, for obvious insurance reasons. We are, like I said, we have the vendors this year. There's gonna be more vendors than we probably had last year. We went over the box seats and the classes, but just if you're still on the fence, just reach out to me for the Cloverdale event. We got plenty of time for Gordyville. Yeah, I know some of the classes are going to get full, but we got plenty of time for that. And no, I'm not going to hold you. Like I said, I'm not going to hold you a spot at Gordyville if you're not coming to Cloverdale. I'm not going to hold you a spot in a class that I know is going to get full. So just don't ask. Go ahead and enter. And if you don't make it, your motor, don't get your motor or whatever. We have the entry insurance now, and it works. Had a nice fellow today call me and say, I don't know if I'm going to get my motor. My class is almost full. I'm just letting you know, if somebody else wants in, let them have my spot, and I'll just bow out for this one if you let me go to Gordyville. Now, you get in that situation, that's absolutely understandable and cool. He called me, said, I don't know if I'll have it for January. I'll bow out, let somebody else have my spot. I do want to come to Gordyville. That stuff's all cool. But don't come to me with, I don't want to risk the snow, but I want to go there. Well, that's not right. I can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Charles, are you gonna be able to go with us to Gordyville, or are you gonna be in Fort Wayne?
I don't know is my only honest answer that I can give you. I don't know that right now.
Yeah. I told Schultz that we were gonna probably have the Fort Wayne pole going in the beer garden. So I said, do a good job videoing it.
I've been to both places, and it'll be up to others to decide. I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
I think it's great they're getting that pole going again. I mean, we had fun when we were out there. That parking lot at Fort Wayne is the coldest, loneliest place in the world after you don't make the finals. We found that out the hard way.
This is true.
And it always snows there. A lot. But when that pole first started, in my opinion, I had more fun there. Not the first year because the smoke tube blowed up, but the next few years, I had more fun there than I did down Louisville. I mean, track was longer, a different variety of vehicles because, TPA would get vehicles from everywhere. There was outlaw diesel supers in there. There was ones in New York. I mean, if you hang out here in the Midwest, you don't get to see those guys. And somehow, some way, Pied Piper, he got them all come to one time, and that was pretty neat. And, I enjoyed it, and the track was long, and the dirt was good. Pit area downstairs was kind of interesting, but I enjoyed it. I mean, even though it was cold, I enjoyed it. And how many places can you have a basketball game going on at the same time as a tractor pull?
Right.
That happens there.
It's a big place. You got a lot of room for activities.
Yeah. But I wish Russ the best of luck. He's a good dude. And some people have already, sent the nasty gram emails and text messages. Why'd you book on top of the NTPA? I was like, well, we discussed this in March of last year.
Right.
And we were going to do this. We had to, get all of our I's and T's crossed with the new ownership of the building, what we could and what we couldn't do. And that was finalized in August. And that's when we pushed forward. So maybe next year we will be on top of one another. Maybe hopefully we do a good job at Gordyville for the building people and make a little bit of money and we can back up a week in February or something. But we'll do our best because running pro stocks out there, I like to go watch myself because I kind of got an addiction for them.
Right. Yeah, building availability is a thing. You can only get in a facility on a weekend where there is nothing booked, and this is just what happened for this year. Like you said, maybe we can get away from each other next year. That'd be great.
Hope we both can survive.
Yeah,
True.
Yes. Surviving is the main thing. Cole, you got anything with us? We're pulling some of our native tractors at Gordyville. We're going to be the first collection of naturally aspirated diesel tractors that I know of in indoor history.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see that. All the local guys. I mean, it'll be good to see them get the hook there. It's Gordyville, man. What else can you say? It's gonna be good to be back home. I know exactly where all the beer wagons are parked there. So
I wanted to show that little cramped announcers thing you guys all had to cram into.
Yeah, it does get a little crowded up there.
So often the announcer's station at these events gets called a penalty box. At Gordyville, it really is.
Yeah. Especially when you're right underneath that one radiant tube. Oof.
It could be in a T-shirt though.
Yeah. So I don't know if I got to wear a T-shirt. I might have to do Pilates or something, get back in shape. I
didn't know if I haven't got that far with the new ownership. What they have with all the updates and renovations, if they renovated the old dirty announcer box, that's been updated.
I would probably be able to handle the old dirty announcer's box if we got the bathrooms working.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that's kind of key to me,
Yeah.
That one, the one in the far south corner, that was rough some days.
Yeah.
So,
Especially on Saturday morning. I think there's no times I've gotten early Saturday morning, started working on the track, and there were people that slept in that thing. They didn't make her home.
Unfortunate.
Yeah. I know for a fact that the second or third year, there were some guys slept in the bleachers, because when I got there and turned the lights on, started roaring around with the chisel plow and tiller, they woke up and asked me if they could borrow my cell phone because they needed a ride. They had wandered off and lost their ride back to the hammer and tool.
No, it's good that everything, it can start something back up there. Hopefully it sticks. And I know there's a lot of, like you got between your 6850 and the naturals class, there'll be a pretty good slug of the local guys there too, and a lot of those tractors have come a long way since the last time they've been on the track in Gordyville too.
Right. And Ryan, when's the cutoff of the cheaper entry fee for Gordyville?
Like beginning of December.
Beginning of December. So they got a few weeks. They need to get signed up.
I think is where I sent it out.
Looking at it for the Spring Nationals until 11/22.
Okay, so I guess this week.
Yeah. So end of this week. And then it goes up to the 275 starting on the 23rd.
Well, we might adjust that a little bit. Because I would like to. We might move that back to after the ITPA and back to take banquets. That way we can go to the banquets and kind of maybe drum up some business for both.
Mm-hmm.
So, because there's a lot of people that don't even know that what's going on. I mean, that's why I started doing these podcasts and sticking it on Facebook, sticking it on YouTube, so people can kind of realize what we're doing. I mean, there's guys pulling ITPA that didn't know we were doing it. Jeff Suits told me that, one of our board members, last Friday.
Best kept secret in Champaign County sometimes.
Yeah.
So, but no, I think the NAs will be kind of neat to have in there, just because I mean, and for anybody that's kind of like NAs, it's not just a bunch of 4010s. I mean, we got some, stuff that's north of 400 horse, without a whistle. So there's something.
Mm-hmm. Neat class. I enjoyed the very few times I've been able to see it in person. I've always enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Steve Meddy said they're going to clean everything out of 45 degree fittings on 4-inch pipes. Because a lot of the V8s are having to fly the thing doesn't go over their head. Well, it would be cool looking at them in the back there in the back. It look like a bunch of nostalgic 4-charger diesel supers back there with the way they have their pipes off those collectors.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, we got a handful of those V8s in that class too. So you'll have to have the double pipe, like just like who was it? Iron Horse.
Yeah.
Had that.
Lancaster and Gary Van Dorpy, they all had them.
Yeah.
Go back to the middle, come up to the middle, went back over.
So
they all leaked.
Yeah. So
Carl, you see this question?
What's that one? It's 700 with IPA. But I guess I hadn't looked to see what Clint, did you basically copy IPA rules on that class?
I put IPA and the guys down here that run with Larry, the Central Illinois Farm guys.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
all stock Fords are cute. That's what they go by.
Yeah.
Like they're 650 at 3,500 and IPA 700 at 3,250.
Yeah. So, yeah. And it's, I mean, there's some, I mean, they've added a couple of new tractors even. So, I mean, it's not, you know, there's a lot of color in that class. You know, we've got Oliver's whites, deers, red ones. I mean, lions, tigers, and bears, oh my, you know. I mean,
Right.
it gets really colorful. So,
Well, and that's why we kind of, you know, are doing what we did here. You know, certain classes work in certain places, and I wanted to run the NA tractors because they have asked, you know, politely over the last 20 years doing this if we'd ever entertain it. And, you know, we just never had a fit there. I didn't know what to get rid of. But going back, you can start from scratch. And we incorporated those guys. The lighter pro farms from ITPA, the Line I States little 7,000 pound pro field tractors that they can come down and run. Some of the ones from out west, Missouri State and mid Missouri, they're a little smaller motors, but they got the 2.6 turbos and coolers on. They've been out there in the past. I told Tim Vorwald that his tractors that pull ECI are going to welcome. We try to figure out some way that they could come. But they're going to be kind of shoved in there different weights and see how this all works. And, you know, the finals will consist of 6 diesels and 3 of the naturally aspirated tractors. If you haven't seen those things, they're kind of interesting. They make weird noises and go down the track, you know, they're, you know, a whole pretty interesting class up there in, you know, Little Illini State. And you know, then we did 3 different mile an hour classes, and a couple guys kind of wrinkled their nose and was like, why'd you do that? And I'm like, well, around here, you know, 12 mile an hour is kind of the thing. And hopefully some of these guys sign up. I know the entry fee is a little higher than what they're normally running for, or what they normally pay. But I try to explain to them, because a lot of them live right around here, that, you know, you get passes for the weekend. You have to go to all the shows with those passes. And you're not pulling for a percentage of your entry fee.
yeah, you got a real purse.
Yeah, you got a real purse. And they said, oh, it's awful, you know, awful expensive. Anyway, I was like, well, you got to realize you're going back up to the best sled on the planet, with the best operator on the planet, with probably one of the best indoor pulling tracks there is, with the best guys that I know of to hire to groom it. That doesn't come cheap. And, you know, you're used to pulling for 150, 200 bucks, you know, at all the pulls that you go to, you're pulling for 3 times that here. And that's the reason that we do this. We want you guys to make some great passes, make some memories, and we'll do the best to pay you the most we can. You know, every class we try to sell a class sponsor. We don't have one class sponsor for Gordyville yet. So if you want to sponsor a class, you know, reach out to me, Ryan, any of the board guys. And, you know, we have a trophy that we put your name on. We do have a podium. You know, the group I work for talks about these podium finishes. Well, we don't even carry a podium. We just talk about it.
But the heaviest podium in the world.
We have a podium, and you get to stand on it. And we try to find some pretty girls to stand with you, make you look better, get your picture taken. You know, some guys spend a lot of money to do that, and you know, we encourage the new guys that if they got questions, you know, give me a call, because a lot of these mile per hour guys will be, you know, this first time they've been inside, and with that comes some challenges for them and challenges for us. Joe will probably have to take a couple more Tums and another pack or 2 of Marlboro Reds for some of the new guys that don't know the system, but we'll get through it. We're a good bunch of guys to work with. We want to have fun. So I think we got several mile per hour tractors entered in the 15. looking forward to working with some of the guys out in Wisconsin and Iowa, Minnesota in the 18-mile-an-hour class. Not saying that the guys right here can't go up to 18 mile an hour if they meet the rules, but read the rules 3 times, and you'll probably know where you got to be. Some of the rules we have in our mile per hour classes, some places, I think one class allows water injection, one of them doesn't. They say, "Oh, it's dumb." Well, that's just the groups that brought this to our attention. These were their rules. And this is what we're going to go with for this year. If it doesn't work, we'll polish it. But
I think the mile an hour stuff is going to look a lot different on the Gordyville dirt and the Gordyville length of track. So I think it won't be your typical mile an hour show, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
right.
I guess interesting is the best word I can come up with right now. It's going to show who's got something, that's for sure. So.
Right. Well, when we started doing the mile per hour stuff at Gordyville, some guys kind of wrinkled their nose, but then everybody got to see Goose go down the track, and that they're like, "Hey, these aren't 400 tractors."
Mhm.
And then with Goose doing what he does, that's encouraged a whole lot of tractors getting built, a whole lot of horsepower to go chase him down, and it's great. The Indiana Pulling League guys have a tremendous group of them. The ones in Southern Indiana, that's a tremendous group of them. And like when we got the opportunity to go up to Shipshewana and on the long track and a good track. I mean, that was pretty cool. Those guys getting down there and just watching those guys be able to go down the track right at just shy of 15 mile an hour and not break it there's an art to it.
Mhm.
And I didn't think I'd enjoy it, but I do, and I enjoy working with those guys.
Yeah,
And, hopefully we can get some different ones, from different parts of the world and do stuff just a little bit different, but still the same thing.
that speed board has just a little tiny delay in it, so those guys really have to have a good butt dyno, and they show that they do.
Yeah, because I know some of the mile per hour classes are getting a little out of hand because they don't have a Cuba limit or nothing like that. But some of the ones that do, there's 50 of those tractors for every one pro stock there is in the United States, and it's it's kind of like when you go to an antique pull. I didn't know there's that many antiques even built, but they have a following that's twice as big as the following for a hot farm class or following for a pro stock class. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of them, and they compete every weekend, and they compete year round. So this is just our attempt to give the mile per hour guys a little bit of fun at Gordyville. I'm sure they've all heard the stories or been a part of the stories about from 2005 to 2020 when we were able to be there. So we just want to try to have some fun, bring the fun back, and not only for the pullers, for the town, for everybody that lives around there, because there's a lot of good people live around there. The ITPA president lives close, or one of our board members lives close. I mean, we got roots there, and we're gonna go back and try to do the best job we can.
Jacob Wolf says he's excited to sponsor this year at the dyno.
Well, thank you, Jacob. That's about all I got for this week. I mean, I got our banquet this weekend. I'll try to drum up some more business out there for both pulls, and hopefully next week we'll come on. We'll have something else to talk about. But like I said, just reach out to me. You reach out to me all day, and the guys that want to reach out to Ryan, remember he has a job, and he's available in the evenings. Don't bug him don't bug him during the days. That's cool. But you can bug me all
I try to
day.
get back to him.
Yeah, you can bug me all day. If I got time, I'll talk to you. I can. If not, I'll talk to you as soon as I can. We're in the office right now working on paperwork from all the businesses, so we'll be open, for whatever we can do to take care of you. Now, don't call me for a hotel room. I don't have any extras. I really don't have enough for all of us, but we're figuring it out. We're not travel agents. If you can't figure out how to book a hotel room, find a niece or nephew. They can figure it out for you. But that's all I got for tonight. I just wanted to, get something started on a weekly basis. People that got box seats, if you had them last year and you haven't sent your stuff in, make sure you reach out to me because I'll give you till the end of the week. We do have a waiting list. And people, that's probably the most asked for thing during the week is you got any left or you got any down at the end. So if you had one, get back with us because your deadline was 2 days ago. But,
People on time with
yeah.
getting stuff in.
You got to remember when we first started this, we sent out applications and had to wait for them to come back. The last week of we were the first. I remember the first or second year we were the first week of January, like the 5th, 6th, and 7th. I remember going to my mailbox in Pekin, Illinois, like December 22nd or 23rd, and it was like that deep. I got like 50 applications in a day, 2 weeks before the event. And trying to keep up with the program numbers and all that stuff was insane, but we figured it out. But that's all I got.
We'll do her again next week.
Yep. We'll try to put on some more colorful people other than us,
Oh, I misunderstood the instructions.
Yeah. We'll try to get some of our real pullers on here, I'm sure Ezen would have chewed his arm off today, to be honest. He likes to hear himself talk. And people like hearing him talk, so they'll get him on here and I'll reach out to some pullers.
He's probably at the karaoke bar.
He does like to sing. Especially after some encouragement. But yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Yep, no problem.
Awesome.
You guys have a good weekend.
Yep. You too.
10-4. See you guys.